Everyone, and welcome to episode number 142 of What Does This Button Do? It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with us, Geeks on Tour, and today we have a special guest. Ron, you want to say hi?
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Okay. I'm Jim.
And I'm Chris.
And we have a beginner's lesson today about how to use Snapseed on a Chromebook. But first, Chris has a quick tip. What do you have, Chris?
Yeah, just something I use all the time. And I noticed, and I said, gee, I don't think I've ever shown this. And that's how to use your browser, even on a phone, to calculate. So I'm going to show my iPhone. Do this. And to show using a browser. Now on an iPhone, I still use the Chrome browser.
Focus.
Thank you. I still use the Chrome browser, but most people on an iPhone use the Safari browser. So that's what I want to show. So Safari browser, and this is where you go to websites like Geeks on Tour. But up here in the address bar, you can just type a calculation and it will give you the answer. You don't need to fumble around and find a calculator. So let's say that I want to calculate what tip I should give. So we have an $85 bill and I want to say times an 18%, which would be 0.18. And it gives me the answer. And so 18% of 85 is 15.3. And because it says, oh, looks like you're doing calculations, it brings up a calculator. And you can do a lot more than even just simple calculations. You can do things like convert 2,400 kilometers to miles. And it says 2,400 kilometers is 1,491 miles. So that's the iPhone with the Safari browser. Now let me show you the Android. And on this one, I will use the Chrome browser. So this is the Chrome browser. And same thing. Let's say I just need to add up some numbers. 245 plus 362. And it's telling me the answer right there, 607. But if I tap the Go button, once again, I come up with a calculator. Or I can do something like convert $50 to Canadian. And go. And it tells me that 50 US dollars equals 64 Canadian dollars. How's that working out for you, Ron?
You're wealthy.
All right. So that's the idea. You can type a calculation just right in the address bar of your browser. And this works on all browsers that I tried it on, the Microsoft Edge, and on your computer or on your phones. And it's a really quick way to get to a calculator.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. So, hi, I'm Jim, and together with my wife, Chris, we're Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
We are geeks, propeller heads, but we like to teach. And we think the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So that's why we do this show. And it forces us to keep learning and keep learning and keep learning. Then these are all recorded and all of our material is collected on our website, geeksontour.com.
Right. So today's show, what's going on? If you have questions during the live show here, use the YouTube chat window. I see a couple of people in there. Hi, Tom Parks. By Wednesday afternoon, this episode will be posted at geeksontour.com at our weekly class tab, along with the class notes for members. So keep an eye on that. Well, Chris, where are we now?
We're still home, but we're on our way this week for a scuba diving trip in Bimini, the Bahamas. So
Been a while.
That's the only way we know that we're not working is if we're underwater.
And
so that's what we do.
What is today?
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
And just another little tip, if you've forgotten to get a gift, it's not too late to make a Mother's Day movie using the Google Photos Assistant. If you go to your Google Photos, tap the Assistant, and then Movie, one of the options is a Mother's Day movie. It asks you to pick the face that's the mother and the face that's the child, and it makes you a slideshow, a movie with music and everything.
All right.
And today we are so happy to have a guest with us, and he's been with us before, Ron Brown from Vancouver Island. And I'm starting to know you, Ron, as Mr. Chromebook. Now I know that you teach like we do, and you teach a lot of stuff. I'm starting to know you as Mr. Chromebook, but when you teach at your computer club in Mesa or year round for the APCUG, what all do you teach, and how did you get started in Chromebooks?
You need to stop sharing your screen there, Ron.
You want me to stop sharing it?
Yeah, we want to see your face now.
Want to see my face?
Yeah.
There you go.
I just want you to say hello.
There you are.
Well, I've been retired, and I've been in Arizona, and we have a large computer club. I think you've been there, in
Yeah, it was great.
Mesa, and I do a lot of teaching. And out of my frustration, I teach Windows 10 to a lot of seniors, and it's a very frustrating experience. So I became very interested in Chromebooks about 2 years ago, and have produced a video through APCUG, which is the Association of Personal Computer User Groups, which is a national organization on how to use Chromebooks for seniors. And it's a video that's out there on YouTube. And as a result of that, I teach a number of Chromebook classes, and I do a lot of remote presentations on Chromebooks, and we have 2 or 3 Chromebook classes through the year, as well as our club. I buy 2 Chromebooks each year and give them away to promote Chromebooks within our club. And within our club now, we have a SIG that's probably got about 20 Chromebook users. So
SIG is Special Interest Group.
yeah, and so Chromebooks are sort of dear to my heart. I have a Samsung Chromebook Plus. I like it. I used it a lot. And I taught a Snapseed course this year because a lot of people in our Chromebook SIG wanted to learn how to use Snapseed. So that was fun. So we got everybody on Chromebooks using Snapseed, which is great because you have a big screen and you can use a mouse, and it's just works great.
Right.
That's what I really am looking forward to getting my new Chromebook this July.
He's waiting for what is it?
It's an HP. It's a new X.
Oh, the detachable screen one.
Right. I think that's the one I want.
Yeah.
And I love my just little Asus flipbook Chromebook. This is all I took when we went to Europe, and it did everything I needed. But it isn't all.
It's not very powerful.
It's not very powerful, so I can see. But this can even fit in my purse. I think that's so cool. All right. Well, let me say a few more things here. Oh, were there any?
No questions.
No questions so far. Okay. Yeah. So our beginner's lesson is about using Snapseed on Chromebook. And so we're just really glad to have Ron here because he's taught it to, I've used it on my one Chromebook, but he's taught it to people with lots of other Chromebooks. And that's when, isn't that true?
You learn.
That's when you really learn, isn't it, Ron?
That is for sure. I'll tell you, that is for sure. Teach a course and you'll really learn it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the best way to learn is to teach. So we've taught Snapseed before, episode 136. people should go look at that, is photo editing with Snapseed. Now then we did it just on the iPhone and on the Android. It is not available for computers, which is why the fact that it's on a Chromebook is such a big deal. We've also taught about Chromebooks before, and Ron was our guest for this one too, episode 117. So check out those if you want to learn more about what we're talking about today. Today, we're talking about the intersection, Snapseed on Chromebook. And I always like to start with a little bit of terminology and background. The issue here is operating systems. For the computers, there's 3 main operating systems: Windows, Mac, and now Chrome OS. Then on the mobile devices, phones and tablets, we have iOS and Android. Operating systems are like languages. Programs must be written for an operating system. A program, also known as an app, written for Windows cannot run on Mac. An iOS program cannot run on Android. So that's where the issues come. Now, Chrome OS is kind of new. We're not talking about the Chrome browser here. It's kind of the Chrome browser grown up to operate a whole computer, not just a web window. And it is taking over. Didn't you have some statistics, Ron, on the Chromebooks in the schools?
Yes, at present time, about 50% of all the schools in the United States use Chromebooks. And by the year 2020, that will rise to 80%. 17% of all laptops sold last year in the United States were Chromebooks.
Wow.
There's a lot, but they're mostly sold in the educational market, so you don't see them at Best Buy or any of the computer stores. But there's millions and millions and millions of Chromebooks produced primarily for the educational market.
Actually, there is now a whole Google counter at the Best Buys.
Yeah.
So you get and they have Chromebooks there.
Yeah, it's coming along now.
If 50 to 80% of kids in schools are using Chromebooks, imagine what the landscape is going to be like when they graduate.
Absolutely.
So Chromebooks is a big deal. These are the stats for Windows, Mac OS X, Chrome OS, and Linux, current as of April 2018 in the United States. These are the numbers. So Chrome is still a very, very small, but it is growing by leaps and bounds. Okay, so a Chromebook runs on the Chrome operating system, but most all of them that you would buy today also know how to speak Android, so they can run Android apps. Now it has to be a touch screen, right, Ron?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, you should have a touchscreen because most Android apps on your phone are going to work by touchy-feely stuff.
By touch, right.
It's been my experience that you can't install the Play Store on a Chromebook normally unless it is a touchscreen.
Okay.
That's a good question. I've the only ones I've ever bought are touchscreen. I don't generally recommend people buy Chromebooks that aren't touchscreen just because of that. It's I think that's an important feature because, as you say, most of the things that most of the programs or apps that we use are touchy-feely things, and I got to tell you, I have an Asus Windows 10 machine, and it's a flip, and it has a touch screen. And running Windows as a touch screen is really creepy. It's really, really, really weird. But you know, when you have an Android app on your phone and it comes over to the Chromebook, you say that's cool. I do that anyway, right? But doing Windows, I don't know. That's a bit weird. I'm a mouse guy for Windows. It just doesn't work for me.
Well, I have 2 Chromebooks, and one of them we've had for 4 years. So there weren't any touch screens when we bought that one. And therefore, also that one cannot run any Android apps. This one we got a couple of years ago. And yeah, that first one was like $125 or something. This one was 200 and
Yeah, it was on sale, 200, $199.
Yeah, $199 for this one. And this was one of the first touchscreen and Android capable. So that's make sure when you get a Chromebook, get a touchscreen capable of Android.
I review a lot of models, and I do a lot of reviews on different machines, and I've never seen one in the last 2 years that didn't have the Android Play Store pre-installed on it. I think that's virtually if you buy any of them now. But remember, a lot of the ones are not consumer grade, they're sort of holdovers from the education market. You know, the education market, you know, they may make an extra 500,000, and then they end up on you know, Amazon for sale, right? And these are not consumer grade Chromebooks. They're being sold out of the education market, and they may have some unique specifications on them, you know, so you have to be careful.
Okay, so we're doing something new this time, and we have a pre-recorded lesson. So playing you one of our videos, and there's two of them. The first one is just about using Snapseed on a Chromebook. Take it away.
You ready?
Yep.
Hi, this is Chris Guld with Geeks On Tour, and this tutorial video is about using Snapseed and Google Photos on a Chromebook. Now, this might look like a laptop computer, like a Windows or a Mac, but it's not. It is a Chromebook. You cannot run Windows programs on it or Mac programs. So what does it run? Well, it's a Chromebook, meaning the basic way to use it is by using the Chrome browser. Now, anything you can do on the Chrome browser on any kind of computer, you can do here. For example, you can go to Geeks On Tour. Or you can go to Google Maps. Those are websites. The second way you can use a Chromebook is with what's called web apps. And you get web apps. They're these little buttons up here. Those are inserted into the Chrome browser. They're called extensions or web apps. And you get them by tapping on that little circle in the lower left-hand corner. That's called the launcher. And then you need to find the web store. That one right there. Web store is how you get web apps that become buttons in your browser here. And there's a bunch of them. But the last way, and not all Chromebooks can do this, so you need to check if your Chromebook, first of all, it needs to be a touchscreen, and then it might be able to run Android apps, just like your Android phone or tablet. To get those, you need the Play Store, and it might be right here, like mine is. Mine is already set up. If yours is not, you might need to read the directions for your Chromebook and see, number one, if it's capable of getting apps from the Play Store, Android apps, and number two, if it's set up. You might need to go into your settings, and there is a section in your settings for Google Play Store. Make sure that is turned on. Snapseed is one of those apps that is a Play Store app. It is not available on the web. It is not available as a web app. So we go to the Play Store. And search for Snapseed. And there it is. Notice I already have it installed, so I'm going to do it again. Once you have Snapseed installed, you can use it all by itself, although we recommend using it through Google Photos. That'll be the next video. But just to use it all by itself, you get it from your launcher. That's the circle in the lower left-hand corner. I've used mine recently, so it's on the recently used row. And you get to this blank screen. Tap anywhere to open a photo, or right there for open. I'll just tap anywhere. And now I have choices of my recently used photos or things that were downloaded or things that are from my OneDrive account or my Google Photos account. Let's go from my Google Photos account. And now I can get things that are on the device folders, or from my main Google Photos library. And I want to edit this one. Now, this was a great day at the beach, but this is a pretty blah picture. First thing, I want to crop it. Need to get rid of that power line in the corner. So there's crop. And make sure to watch, I think it was episode 136, is more instructions on using Snapseed. So there, we've cropped that line out, and even a little bit more. I think I want to change the aspect ratio to 16:9. There we go. There we go. That's the part that I want. And you check mark. Now I just want it to be prettier, and I find that it is the tune image that I like the most. You rub your finger up and down to see the choices. I like ambiance. Then you rub your finger left and right. And this is just so nice on this big screen. Lots more room to work with than on a little phone. And I want a little more saturation, more color. There. And check mark. And I am done. You can see what the photo looks like before and after by just touch and hold. That's before the edits. That's after the edits. All right, I like that. To save it, then you tap on that little down arrow, and I just want to save. And then we're done. We can go back, and we're back to the beginning. That's how you use Snapseed all by itself. Next video is with Google Photos.
Great.
So before we go straight on to the next video, any just comments on using Snapseed all by itself on a Chromebook? And
Are you talking to me, or?
yeah.
Do you want me to? I have a couple of comments. Do you want me to share my screen and show you something?
Sure.
Okay. If I'll just show you so everyone can see it.
Now, just for our audience to know, Ron is on a Chromebook as we speak. He's part of this show using his Chromebook.
All right. So the first thing, can you see the ribbon on the bottom, Chris?
No,
Yeah.
I'm seeing. Oh, okay, but we're seeing our faces, which is kind of confusing.
But can the audience see the ribbon
Yes.
on the
Yes, we see the ribbon at the shelf.
Okay, so I think that everyone should know that when you get a Chromebook, if you've bought a Chromebook in the last 2 years, Google Photos will be pre-installed on it, and it's most likely you'll have a little button like this on the bottom, maybe one like this over here, that will already be there for you. It'll all be set up so Google Photos is on there. Now, what you need to understand, though, is that this is the web-based app that comes standard installed. This is not the Android app. And the Android app is what you need to run Snapseed. So what you will need to do is you'll need to go to the Play Store, as you mentioned in your video, which is right here. You click on this little button here, and it's going to take you to the Play Store, and you're going to download Google Photos. Now you're going to have 2 versions of Google Photos on your Chromebook. You're going to have, and the way you know each one, you're going to, this little white dot here is the one that's going to be the web-based version, and this little dot here, and this one is the Android version. And you have to have the Android version on to make Snapseed work.
Right.
And as you pointed out, this is the web-based version of Google Photos, and this will be This, and then if you click on this button, this brings up the Android version, right? So
And
those
you know what I discovered after we talked the other day, Ron, if you look really, really closely at that white dot on the web version, you will see a Chrome icon.
Yeah, it's real small.
That's actually a Chrome badge on that.
is it? My eyes aren't that good.
Yeah, you have to really look at that little gray dot in the middle of the white circle.
Right.
That is a Chrome icon in there.
Okay. So this is the, as you pointed out in your excellent video, this is the web-based version, and this is the Android version. So I just wanted to point that out to everybody. This is unique on a Chromebook. You're not going to see this on any other computer, right?
Right, and it is pretty confusing, but hopefully after this episode, people will understand. So let's do the next video,
Sure.
which is about using Google Photos and doing a round trip to Snapseed and back.
Once you have the Android Snapseed app installed on your Chromebook, you can use it all by itself. Just go to your launcher, find your Snapseed app, and you open a photo. But I prefer to start with Google Photos, the app, and then go to Snapseed and do a round trip. I want to use Google Photos. Now, there are 2 ways to use Google Photos, so let me explain that. If you just go to a browser and go to Photos, this is the web version of Google Photos. And if I tap on a picture and then tap the 3-line menu, there is no edit in Snapseed like there is on my Android or my iPhone. So we need the Google Photos app. Launcher, Play Store, and Photos. And the Google Photos app. I already have it installed. Remember how to get to an app in the Chromebook? You just tap the launcher and look through your all apps. There's my Google Photos app. Notice now we are not in a browser. There's no tabs up here. There's no address bar. There's no buttons. This is the Google Photos app. Now when we tap a picture and we tap the 3-dot menu, we have Edit In. And there's Snapseed. It's really nice to have this bigger screen, and in a laptop, I can actually be holding this on my lap to edit my photos rather than a little phone. On this picture, I want to go into Tools, and first I want to crop it just a bit. I want to get that wire out of the sky, but I still want to get the bottom of the reeds there. And now I want to go back into Tools, and I want some more color and make it prettier. That's under Tune Image. And if you watched our Snapseed videos, you know that you can drag up and down to see your choices. I want ambiance, and you can drag left and right to make more or less. I didn't get ambiance. There we go. Ooh. That's pretty, and maybe a little bit more color, that saturation. Yeah, I like that. I tap check mark and I tap done. And that edited photo is being saved to a Snapseed folder on this device, but it is also getting uploaded to my Google Photos. So when I go back to my Google Photos, I see the dull, boring original, and I see the edited with Snapseed.
Oh, there's still not.
So let's do that one more time with another picture. I'm going to start with the Google Photos app, and I've put it right down here. And this time I'm going to use this picture. that was of a pretty sunset, but the picture doesn't look all that pretty. 3-dot menu, edit in, and Snapseed. And here, since I so often seem to do a little bit of ambiance and a little bit of saturation, that's what will happen if I tap on this look called Last Edits. So I just tap Last Edits, and it applies the same thing I did to the last picture on this one. And yes, I think that's exactly what I want. I'll tap the check mark. And the next thing I want to do is enter some text. So that's this tool. And it says double tap to change text. And then I can type what I want. And okay. And then I want to change the color, make it, I don't know what's going to work here. How about and then I'll change the whole style. Ah, there we go. That's a little bit too big though. So with two fingers, I can resize it. I can move it around. There. I think that looks pretty good. I will check mark. And then I will long press to see what it looked like before. Pretty dull picture. Let go. That's what it looks like now. I like it. And to save it, all I have to do is tap done, because remember we started with Google Photos and we took a round trip to Snapseed and back. I tap done. And I'll be back in Google Photos. I don't need to look at the folder now. And there it is. There's our original, there's the edited one, and this is in the Google Photos app on the Chromebook. Okay, so those are my two examples. Now we're going to give Ron a chance to show how he uses Snapseed.
All right. Am I back on?
Yep.
Okay. Just one thing I wanted to mention to everybody, Chris, we talked about this yesterday, is when you first download Snapseed, if you do not use it right away and go to Google Photos, you won't find the Snapseed directory. Reason,
Right.
I don't know why they did this, is that you have to actually save one picture in Snapseed for it to create the Snapseed directory. And that's a bit confusing, and was confusing to me when I was teaching the course. Wanted to remind everybody about that. You have to at least save for the directory to be created. Okay, let's go to my pictures. Now this is the Android version of my Google Photos. And here you'll see, Chris, I did get all my patio furniture all out yesterday. That's a picture off our deck.
Oh, very nice.
And this is my daughter, who is a cardiac nurse in Adelaide, Australia. And this is one of the reasons why people want to use Snapseed, is they want, as you mentioned, they want to put a title on a picture, right? And you cannot do this within Google Photos, so you have to use some other program. So I wanted to show everybody today, this is my golfing buddy who beat me on Friday, and I'm going to put a title on here for him. So if we come over and we come here, edit in, and we will bring up Snapseed.
What happened? Oh. You just stopped talking.
Oh man, I'm glad that oops, I'm glad that hold on.
Uh-oh.
Now you broke it.
I broke it. What?
Uh-oh.
I
That
broke
never
it.
happens to me.
Right.
Edit and Snapseed. Here we go. Let's see that. All right, so let's come down here to see a Chromebook fixes itself so fast.
Yeah.
All right, so then let's put text in here, and we'll double tap here, and we will say golf winner beat Ron. And there we go. And, you know, if we want to bring that down here and then fine. And so I think that, and there's a lot of things you can do with it. You can make this bigger, larger, color it, and you can do all sorts of things with it. But I find one of the most common things that I get asked is, how can we put a title on a picture? And that clearly you can't do that in Google Photos. You need something like Snapseed to do that.
Snapseed does a great job for it, too.
Yeah, it does a really good job on that. Now, the other one that I wanted, just the other example I wanted to show you was this picture. This is my cardiac nurse in Adelaide with my grandson. Now, you can see it's a bit washed out, and the coloring isn't that good. So let's edit this in Snapseed.
Like they needed to clean the lens.
Yeah.
No, I think it's the way the light's coming in. I think the lights, I think it's just bad light, right? Now, one of the things that you could do with this is you could make this black and white. And we could make this, and I think that looks a lot better as a black and white picture, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right off the bat, and there are many different, we could even make it darker. We can even make it, there's a one here that gives you a bit of a film or grainy, but you can make it, you don't have to keep it as a color. I'm sure there are experts in Snapseed that could take the color picture and make it really enhance that. But for sure, you can change it and you can make it into a black and white picture.
Yep.
And I think that, and I think when you have color problems like that one that I just showed you, I think this is a very acceptable picture. And I like that picture. It's one of my favorite pictures. It's a good picture of them.
Nice smiles.
Yeah, yeah. Lots of money on those teeth, by the way. Orthodontics. Anyway, those are my two examples that I thought.
Great.
Cool.
We're going to go to Australia next year. Maybe we'll have to.
Adelaide, there you go. Hey, I'm cruising down there in September if you want to come.
Oh, no, we'll be in January.
All right.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And any
I
no
don't see any
questions?
more
Wow.
questions there. I wish
Okay.
it would be nice if people would put their stuff in there, but I'm not too worried about it.
All right. So then back to here.
All right.
And
Well, we do invite you to become a member at geeksontour.com. Just go to our website, geeksontour.com, and click on the link to become a member. See our website, geeksontour.com. Click on the weekly class menu and scroll down to see all of these shows, all of the archives. They're all free. They're all available. And if you are a member, you get to see the show notes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and search for Geeks on Tour, and you'll find us there. And like us on Facebook. Our app of the week.
so when we have a guest, we make them work. So Ron said that he could tell us about an app of the week, Google Tasks.
Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, you're sharing now.
Okay, so my app of the week is Google Tasks, and this is just came out. And the reason it's an important app is because you can see it on Gmail. This week they changed Gmail's, so there's the new Gmail picture and the new way in which we look at Gmail, and there's a taskbar on the right side. So if you go on your Android device or iOS device, you'll see this little button here. Go to the Android store and download this, and you'll come up, and this is Google's Task. Now this is new, and be careful. There are a lot of different task managers, so you want to get the one that looks like this. And here you go. And today, cook Mother's Day dinner. Reminder: get the steaks. Geeks on Tour, you can see, and just to add a new task, you just click here and say cut lawn. And you can just save that as a task. Now, when you come over now to, let's just come over to, we want to go to, I'll just load up Gmail here. You will see.
All your mail.
Well, you see all your mail. Come on. Let's load up. All right. But on the right-hand side here, do you see how this is all changed? This is the new Gmail. And if you come down here, you'll see the little task button here. You click on this, and there's all your tasks right there, right? Remember? Take out garbage, remember steaks, cook Mother's Day, cut lawn. And we can just click on this and say it's done. I just did that, and I better remember the steak. So you can create tasks within Gmail right on this side here, and that will be reflected on your phone. So if you're even if your wife's off at the store and you've got a grocery list here, you could add bring milk, or we need milk, and it would show up on her task list. So the task app, the Android task app, is linked into your Gmail so you can see it in both locations.
Yeah, that's cool. But I noticed something when you showed the tasks in the standalone window. I saw subtasks.
Right. You can create subtasks. So if you add a new task, let's say you, let's say get mustard. You can save it. Now, if I click on this, I can add a subtask. So we could enter napkins, right?
Okay, so you just click on a task, and then you get this
add it as a subtask, and you can keep adding subtasks, right?
Right. Okay.
So, and that adds it under the task. So that's sort of cool.
Oh, so on your Gmail screen, then, when I just see the main task, if you click on it, do you see the sub? Yeah, like that mustard there.
Yeah, just let me get out of here first. Let's go back here. Yeah, these would be the subtasks that are coming down here. There'd be I didn't put a main task in, but these would be the subtasks.
Okay, I think you put on subtasks under Get Mustard, didn't you? And Cook Mother's Day Dinner. So if you click on the Mother's Day Dinner.
No, I didn't make it as a subtask. No, I didn't make it a subtask.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been looking at Google Tasks with interest.
Yeah, she wants to add tasks to me. That's I know what she's up to here.
Yeah, I know. It's the to-do list. You're not going diving until the tasks are done.
All right. All right. Well, thanks for that. Yes, Google Tasks, something new.
Well, and as we do in every show, we ask you some questions. Did you learn something?
And I usually answer them, but in the spirit of making our guest work, I think I'll ask Ron to answer these.
So go ahead and stop sharing your screen, Ron.
Yeah, let's have a look. How do I get out of here?
Yeah. But true or
There you
false? With Snapseed, it's easy and free to make your photos stunning.
True.
I sure think so.
Yeah. For each of the following, is it a browser or an operating system? Safari?
Safari's a browser.
Okay. Android?
Android is an operating system.
Windows?
Is a Windows is an operating system.
Edge?
Operating system. Edge is a browser.
And Chrome?
Chrome is a browser.
And Chrome OS?
Is an operating system.
Yeah,
So
very
you
good.
got it all.
Yeah.
Great.
That was a lot in one question.
She does that. Most people use Snapseed on A, Chromebook, B, iPhone, C, Android, or D, iPad. That's a trick question.
Well, yeah.
You could use it on all of them, eh?
Yes, but I think my point of putting that question in there is we were teaching about Chromebook, but I just want to remind people that most of the time you're using it on an iPhone or an Android, on a mobile device.
And
the Chromebook is something different for using Snapseed.
Tom said he uses Snapseed on his iPad because it has the bigger screen.
Right.
So I like to have a bigger screen. That's
the bigger screen is the main point.
Right.
So what's the only advantage then of the Chromebook is that it's in a laptop
and
configuration, so I can set it on my lap.
Yes,
whereas
something
a tablet,
you don't have to hold all the time.
A tablet, you have to have some other way of holding on to it. Anyway,
right.
Well, and the other thing,
primarily an iPhone and Android thing.
The other thing, Chris, is you can also plug a big monitor into a Chromebook.
Ah,
right.
I haven't done that.
Yes,
so you can put a 34-inch monitor on it. I mean, I guess you could do that with an iPad, but
then that would be a touch. You still have to touch it on the little monitor.
Well,
yeah. But you took your Chromebook and plugged a 34-inch monitor, and you still have a keyboard and a mouse.
Touch. Right. So Snapseed on a Chromebook. Snapseed can run on a Chromebook, but only if that Chromebook supports what operating system?
Android.
Okay.
Exactly.
Google Photos can open a photo in Snapseed on a Chromebook, but only if you're using which version of Google Photos? Windows, Chrome, Android, or web?
Android.
Android, and that is the tricky part. But it's easy to know. I mean, if you open a picture, you click on the 3 dots, and edit in Snapseed isn't there, then you're in the wrong version.
Well, also, if you look up on top and see all the, like you said in your video, if you see all the web-based stuff, it's, you're in the wrong one.
Cool.
Yep.
So when Chris talks about a round trip, she's referring to A, to the cloud and back, B, from Google Photos to Snapseed and back, or from your phone to your computer and back.
Or to Australia and back.
Google Photos to Snapseed and back.
Right. That's what I'm referring to with round trip.
Right.
And it works great in Android, but there's issues with it on the iOS.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. But
yeah, I'm looking for more questions. Robin says hi. Excellent show. Snapseed and using Hangouts with Ron for screen sharing. Yes, and Ron is on a Chromebook and sharing the screen using his Chromebook. It's really pretty cool.
And using YouTube Live, which is Hangouts on Air still.
Right.
Somewhere underneath the scene. underneath
Underneath
the hood there. It's still Hangouts on Air.
What else we got there? Well, Chris, what's the web page that lists all our weekly shows?
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is weekly class. You'll find all 142 episodes listed there.
And the web page that lists all of our recent newsletters.
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is blogs and news.
Great. So why do people pay $58 or $68 a year to join Geeks on Tour?
Well, the number one reason is they like technology and they like to learn. They don't want to miss anything, so they want it all. Number 2 is to ask us questions on our Q&A page. Number 3 is to gain access to hundreds of our tutorial videos, learning guides, and ebooks. Number 4 is to get the written notes from the What Does This Button Do show. And number 5, my favorite, is just to say thank you for all the free training they get from us.
That's pretty cool.
And you'd go to geeksontour.com and just click on the button that says Become a Member.
Easily done. So next time, we might have a live show next week. We might not. If we do, it'll all be about our scuba diving in the Bahamas. That should be fun. We don't have a scheduled topic, but watch for the follow-up, Gabbing with the Geeks. We should be able to do it, bandwidth providing. That's our Facebook Live Q&A on Thursday. If we do, we'll put it up there.
If we do a Gabbing with the Geeks, it will be from the Bahamas.
Right. And if you have an idea for a topic, go ahead and leave a comment here, and we'll try and get to it sometime for you. Well, that's it for us this week, and we want to thank our guest. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you. Anytime.
See you next time.
All right. And that's it for us.
Keep pushing those buttons.
Don't push those buttons.
Just look at that and say, what's that button do? Boy, do I do that in Snapseed. There's so many buttons in Snapseed. What does this button do? Just try it.
Just don't touch that button. Please don't
What does
touch
this button do?
Don't touch that button. We're out of here, guys. See you later. Bye.
Are we off? I can't hear you.